When I was first introduced to Simon & Tarney, I was amazed at this young couple in their 20s having built a business turning over $40 million in Brisbane. And to have achieved that, I instinctively knew there must be something special to them. And with respect to the growth of the business, it was turning over $40 million, and when it was ultimately sold, it was turning over, $250 million. The ability for a couple to grow a business without any external funding is extraordinary from my experience. And they've just slowly, through profitable growth, funded up to now 8 stores and 9 since the acquisition, and 900 employees. Simon & Tarney Beard have created a brilliantly creative international business. Culture Kings is a wonderful growth story on the international stage. As is normally the case, overnight success comes after 10 to 15 years of extremely hard work. And that's exactly what is behind the success of Culture Kings. They got to, in about 2015, 40 million, and a bit under 500 employees. And they would have back then had about 3 stores.
The proudest thing is we were able to grow it from nothing to, between that 30 and 60, we did some 100% year growth during COVID, year on year, without getting any outside funding, without any investors, without even any loans. We were able to just really build it off profit. We're over $300 million revenue now, and the best thing is we've always made a profit that whole time. That's why we're able to always, to be able to create the real free cash flow to invest and keep doubling down. We started very small, and in that we were able to, I talk a lot about it, develop the muscle and grow the muscle organically ourselves, step by step, of understanding retail, solving every part of the sort of business across it, from the financial side in the early days to online, to pick and pack, to marketing, to distribution, to brand deals, to buying. Every part of it is that we were able to understand, and a huge advantage that we had is I believe we were young enough and I was the customer. We lost basically everything and lost like $10 million in a day. The whole warehouse, we had $800,000 worth of orders still that we got the money and we still had to ship from Boxing Day. It was all burnt and destroyed, and it was this moment of I remember when we went home, we were just in a shock and panicking mess, and we just thought it was like all this work and it's just gone, we're screwed. And it was the crying and the tears, but it was this thing of we're not gonna, we're gonna find a sort of way out of it. And it was it was phenomenal. The growth out of it, we actually grew more out of the fire, and grew more that year.
I think that was a real defining moment. We either grow and succeed or we perish, But I feel like that was definitely one of those turning points for us. What did I learn about myself? You can do anything you put your mind to, We just worked so hard and we left nothing in the tank.
From my early days at the markets and learning about sales and stuff, it was always people aren't buying this product, they're buying this feeling, this state, this emotion. If I can generate it myself, I can give it to them. And we hammer that every day of how do we create this emotion where they walk in at this level, and through our rapport, through our connection, through our music, through our atmosphere, through our vibe, that we create it, and all these clothes that we link this emotion to, that when they leave the store, it's like they've got a cape on their back and they fly out of that store. And that's always been our clear purpose.
We want people to experience retail at its finest. It's not just I need to go buy some pants and a top. It's let's go to Culture Kings, let's hear the DJ, let's dance. It's just giving people a bit of fun and, creating that atmosphere atmosphere. It's an experience, yeah. It's an experience.
Well, I used to refer of like, we're not competing with these other retail stores, we're competing with Dreamworld. It's like, am I gonna go to Dreamworld or go to Culture Kings? We've always had this of how we create the Disneyland of sport, music, fashion, lifestyle, pop culture, of like, where it's this whole journey to go there.
They complement each other perfectly. Tani always gets her own way, so whether that means she's more competitive or not, I don't know. Her and Simon are just such a wonderful couple, and they work so well together as a team. Simon has an amazing energy, imagination, ability to challenge and think differently to everybody around him, while Tani has this amazing ability to harness those ideas and that energy and to direct it in the most productive manner.
I've never met anyone as passionate, as giving, as hardworking. He's such a growth seeker. It's his nature to search for a new way or a better way, and you know, he will always go above and beyond, and you know, although highly successful, he always wants to help everyone out, you know, from our staff, from our friends and family, no matter what.
She definitely has this amazing ability to rally. She's such this cultural icon at Culture Kings. She's the one that saves the sort of day all the time, but we exactly complement our sort of skills. Like, I'm high on the creativity but super low on detailed and reliable, and she was the exact opposite. She's 98% on detailed and reliable, and that's her ability to really see those details and connect it. I 100% know that if it wasn't for Tani, I would have swung it off a cliff at some point. She has, you know, such this radiance, this leadership in a real radiant feminine way of leadership. We're quite different in that style, but it is perfectly matched to bring Culture Kings together.
Simon's great with ideas. He has a million of them. It's just a matter of trying to grab the one the big, most important one, and kind of run with that.
I asked her to come out, like, meet up later that night, and one of my first questions, like, what are your goals in life? I don't know why actually I blurted that out so early in the thing, but you know, we had an amazing sort of chemistry.
I was shocked. I don't think I answered it, to be honest. And I remember leaving after the coffee date and calling my girlfriends and saying how amazing this guy was, because it was the first time someone was ever so goal-driven and they knew what they wanted to do. Yeah, but I was shocked. It was a weird question.
I've always been a big goal-setting one, and you know, huge on sort of personal development, but I actually had these goals that when I finished school, you know, one of them was that I never wanted to work a job. I always wanted to be this entrepreneur. And then one of them was that I wanted a partner that I could share work and life with. I wanted a partner that I could really pitch and catch with.
We always joke about, like, you know, if we had nothing, give him $100 and he'll go and turn it into $1 million, you know? Like, he's just, you know, incredible. The amount of ideas and continuous growth that he seeks, it's just amazing.
There was this little boutique in Miami that I was actually buying shoes off and reselling at the time. This was very early days. And then he actually went into receivership and went into admin after we'd been dealing for a month. And I was just like, oh my God, like, that's just such a good name, such an iconic thing. And he had the website, the domain and everything. And I was just like, oh, I just really want to buy this. How much is it for sale? And you know, he started at 300,000. I got him down to 30 grand. But I remember after we bought it and I put it up and you know, as we did the logo, I remember thinking in those early days, I'm like, oh, I just know this is going to be $1 billion company one day. Culture Kings as a brand image is just this way that we can jump between all different elements of that sport, music and fashion, but as well, like, you know, we can take parts from luxury, we can take learnings from all different elements and mash it together and sit in our own sort of space. We never like a cookie cutter. And I suppose this goes to the name too of Culture Kings, of this masculine energy, right? We like to, even though we sell like a lot of women's stuff, 30% of the business is women's, but it's still under a masculine energy. I suppose to be the next generation of retail, I always thought as we came through, as we were positioned for our age, and that's what I believe. I've always visioned this Disneyland stores that I subscribe of sport, music, fashion, culture in the iconic cities around the world. Like I still do this visualization in Dubai Mall, Shibuya, Japan, Oxford Street, London, Champs-Élysées in Paris, Caesar's Palace in Vegas, you know, and it's these iconic stores that create this Disneyland emotion that when someone walks inside, their eyes light up and it's a true experience of the brand, and then we can capitalise it online and keep them as a customer. 70%, 75% of our sales are online, 25% store at present, but the impact of COVID is that we were actually so luckily perfectly set up pre-COVID, because we were about 50% online, 50% stores pre-COVID, which was extremely rare in a retail like us, that we really built such a solid foundation that once that shift went to online, is that we were in the perfect place to capitalise on it, because, you know, of our muscle, you know, that's where we were really able to step change these $100 million jumps a year.
I mean, everything in life is a risk. Simon is the risk taker, and I'm always the one trying to pull him back. But, you know, I suppose you can't get anywhere in life without taking a risk.
I think I'm quite lucky. It's built into my DNA to take risk. I always say if everything's going too smooth, I'm like, it's like I'll get a stick and shove it in the spokes, because I love the uncertainty.
Simon thrives off uncertainty.
Not just gamble, but like, you know, where I can help shift the outcome. I say this too, is like sometimes the only difference between being brave or stupid is the result, right? And it's like sometimes we've just really pulled it off, but I do believe we've been able to get the right people around us, you know, from the financial side, Peter from our advisory board, you know, I always think of how many arrows in our back he has saved us through those times, that just simply asking the right questions. And Tani's been definitely one to challenge me and really think through sort of my ideas, when a lot of people will just get over-influenced because of my position. If I didn't have those around, I would 100% have run it off a cliff, without a doubt. So it was a real surprise to me that the AKA deal was the largest single private sale in Australian retail history. I know it was a big surprise in a lot of the market, because a lot of people didn't know we were that big. So we're able to sell 55% for 300 million, which was awesome. And then as well, we were able to, the 45% left, we swapped that into the public company, into AKA, so we're all aligned, and now we've got a really great stake of almost 20% in AKA, and that we can really help drive the future for Culture Kings and AKA to be this true next generation of retail. You know, we're still running the show, we're still here every day driving it harder than ever. I really believe like AKA can be this LVMH of the street sport, music, lifestyle, the whole fashion brands. Peter Hedge has been on our advisory board since 2015. When I'm talking to other founders and stuff on that journey, I'm like, you need to find yourself in Peter to be able to ask those right questions and it was really this thing of you don't know what you don't know, and was able to pinpoint so many decisions where we were about to make a mistake and just for us to slow down. But a lot he saved us, and that would have been, you know, millions down the drain. It's the ego barrier, the same thing that gave you the energy and the doubt, you know, to keep going and make those inroads, you know, can be the curse too. And it is that balance that's definitely needed. And Peter was a real godsend, and just the whole way through right through the transaction and everything has been legendary. We've been doing influencer marketing since the early days. That was our in-stores, right? They were the first generation of it. You know, we had Justin Bieber come in the store and spend 10 grand and post it on his social media in 2013. Like, he spent 10 grand and did it. Like, if we did that, oh, it was 2014 or something, but what he would charge to do that now would be millions of dollars, you know, and he did it, and it was just, those were the early sort of days and that disruption that we were there. So being a streetwear pioneer, I don't want to put it all like to ourselves. There's definitely an element of luck in business, and we were very lucky to, I was so passionate about this, and this wave of streetwear really, you know, it was a market timing and dynamics that we were really quite lucky. We were very early on the streetwear, and I always had a love for it when, you know, none of my mates would wear it, and I love this streetwear of these different elements of, like, you know, my favourite music artist or the favourite sports star would wear it. Obviously, the rise of streetwear has just been ginormous, and we've just been, you know, I really do think we're extremely lucky to ride that wave. It's a great point on gamification when we look for those key triggers of, like, the dopamine, and one of the biggest dopamines, you know, is that gambling, that sense of winning, and how we always look for ways, how do we create that feeling and create that emotion in store. And this is where we've really lent into gamification and how we can create this experience. Our iconic sharpshooter, you know, 10 hoops in a row can win. We've given away millions of dollars worth of prizes over the years of it. It's been such an iconic sort of thing as we get the whole crowd and everything involved. Like, how often would you get, you know, a store of 100+ people cheering for you doing that shoot? We've been headquartered in Brisbane since the start, basically, since our very first warehouse was here. We've never wanted to move because we've built such a team that has come through the warehouse to now doing crucial roles, that so much of our talent is all built here. We want to really grow and develop that team, and I believe if you look at any of these iconic brands, like, you know, Nike is still based in Portland, right? It becomes that epicenter, and people will come there for it. I believe that we can do that from all around the world one day. So in the marketing at QUT, you know, Sumong Wong was definitely the most, you know, really made me think and get inspired about this marketing from a very early age. And this is when I was still at the markets, and I was applying a lot of what I was learning directly in the electronics part I had at the markets while at uni, and it's definitely loved that. It was very inspiring and got me to really fall in love with the world of marketing. If you knew how hard it would be, if you knew it was the 100-hour weeks back to back for 5 years straight without a day off, you know, like, you would be like, if we knew that journey was in front of us, you probably would just be like,
too hard.
Too hard. But it is that thing is you just do, and the next thing and the next thing. You learn and you grow, and that's the thing, is once you grow to the next level, you're able to do it. And that's where all the magic happens. So I remember at school I made this password, you know, $10 million by 30, and it was my password for everything. I've always wanted to make $10 million by the age of 30, and I was really embarrassed to have it on a goal thing. And we definitely blew past it, really thanks to Tani. But we did that, and I updated the one for 40 of you, and then I had all these people trying to guess my password.